Hello everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. This is our ITL for Foundation Exam Prep and Real World Tips webinar. I'm Shraddha, your host for today's webinar. And first of all, I really want to appreciate for you taking out time to be here. And now that you are here, I'm guessing you already know that ITL is not just a fancy buzzword anymore. It has become part of how IT teams actually work, how services get delivered, and how problems get solved. And yes, definitely how careers move ahead. So, today we are going to keep this session simple, practical, and useful. So, by the time we are done with the session, you will have a much clearer picture of how to approach the exam without overthinking it and how to connect those concepts to what's really happening in the IT industry today. So stick with us till the end, and there is a little something for those of you who are serious about leveling up this year, and I'll share more on that later. So before we move ahead, I want to give a quick intro if you are new to the Knowlathon. Knowlathon is a global training provider helping working professionals build skills that are not just good on paper, but good at work. So we have trained over 35,000 plus people worldwide in certifications like ITL, PMP, Prince2, ISO, Agile, and more. So our whole focus is making sure the time you spend learning actually helps you in your career. Simple as that. So, all right, let's get to the main part. I'm super excited to hand this session over to today's speaker, Hirinder Mulwani ma'am. She has been working in IT service management for over a decade, trained more than 5,000 professionals globally, and helped teams actually apply ITL, not just memorize it. So, whether you are here to crack the exam or figure out how ITL fits into your day to day job, you are going to find this session really worth your time. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shraddha. Am I audible
Yes, ma'am.
and the video clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So first and foremost, thank you everyone who's taken the time out and joined us today for this interesting topic. And some of you all may have joined from different parts of the country or even from outside of the country. Whichever time zone you are in, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope my screen is visible. I will start the discussion now. So, a little bit of an introduction about myself. My name is Hirinder Mulwani. I am an ITIL consultant, IT consultant, corporate trainer, and I run my own sole proprietor outfit called as ServiceSphere. I am partnering with Knowlathon for multiple projects, including corporate training. From a service management perspective, I am an ITIL V3 expert since 2011. I moved to ITIL 4 in 2019 and I completed my ITIL Masters in 2023. Um, I have also had the fortune of being selected as an ITIL ambassador very recently. I've been working in the field of ITSM, IT governance, IT operations since almost 19, 20 years now, with an overall experience of about 30 years. Uh, I have certifications in many IT space areas, for example, ITL Masters, SIAM, COBIT, ISO 20000, ISO 27001. Um, my pure IT career has been in implementing ITIL earlier processes and now practices, where I have worked with many industries from telecom to transportation to retail to consumer goods. Any specific advertisement in India that you see on TV, probably I've worked with that client. Cadbury, Heinz, all of those. So when we talk of IT service management and ITIL, I have seen it getting implemented across industries. And when we talk about ITIL further, you will understand how it is industry agnostic and how it can fit into any IT environment. I have been working with multiple organizations for implementation of ITIL, for ITSM gap analysis, process maturity, enablement of audits, facilitating audits, doing internal assessments, reviews, so on and so forth. My basic aim is to make ITIL and ITSM world as simplified as possible for learners and participants. Focus majorly being on how ITIL can be practically implemented in their own workspaces. Let's see what kind of questions you will have later today when we open the forum for questions, and hope to be of use in terms of the session, in terms of the contents, and hope to see some of you all in one of the learning programs in the future. So the intent of us getting together here today is to understand what is the ITIL exam, what does it look like, how to crack it in the first attempt, how can we make our learning journey more effective and efficient. And once we have attended a trainer-led program in a class, or we have taken an online program, what are the next steps after the training is completed until you give your exam, right? Before we get to the examination part, quick overview of what ITIL 4 is all about. So ITIL 4, first and foremost, is not a compliance framework. It's a best practices framework, hugely accepted ITSM framework. In the world of IT, you may find other known names as well. For example, VerySM or YASM. But ITIL has been adapted and adopted across most of the IT organizations who provide IT services, and a lot of clients globally who have a very mature and stable IT environments. When we talk of ITIL, it's at least ITIL 4. It does not focus on processes or practices alone. It gives us the core of ITIL, which is value, which focuses on customer experience, user experience, making it work on the principles of adapt and adopt. So it will not, at any given point in time, become prescriptive. It will never tell you this tool to use, this practice to adapt, that practice to implement. No, it gives us a good amount of guidelines, suggestions, recommendations, which we can customize and which we can adapt and adopt to depending on the scope of work that we manage, depending on the kind of skills we bring to the table, depending on the customer's requirements, the achievements that the customer wants, whatever outcomes they're looking for. It is whole and soul based on how we can provide value to the customer at every level, right? So it'll introduce a lot of new concepts. When you actually take up the ITL training right from foundation to masters, you will see the focus being on value. However, it becomes more and more advanced as we go ahead in the journey of ITL. It starts with foundation. Hence the discussion today, because we want that anybody who wants to enrich themselves on the ITL path should be able to comfortably understand the examination format and take it ahead. Now, when we talk of ITL 4 specifically, it doesn't work as a standalone framework. It now takes a lot of its information or its inspiration or it has touch points which will make you remember other frameworks, or where you will be able to apply some of the basic concepts of other frameworks as well, like Agile or DevOps or Lean Sigma. In some spaces, you will also realize that it probably follows the principles of project management or principles of how to run a specific project lifecycle end to end. So when you take up the course, you will see different frameworks being utilized or being called in different spaces. So that's a little bit about what ITL 4 would ideally look like or has in store for us. Now, this one is the main area where we want to focus on. And when we talk of exams for foundation, the first and important part to remember, or the most important aspect of any exam in ITL, is that it is online. When we say it's an online exam, it is a proctored exam. So if you have never given an online exam before, you must understand that a proctored exam means it's a supervised exam. So there is somebody like a supervisor or an examiner who is sitting somewhere on the globe, now not necessarily in India, and is watching over you when you give the exam. This is not to scare you. This is basically to prepare you. While I will explain all the details that are given on the slide, let me tell you how this examination occurs or how it happens. So once you have completed your training program, you get a voucher which you redeem through the PeopleCert website and you enroll for the exam. The first step uh, that you must do before your exam schedule is prepare for the exam, right? And while I will explain in details in terms of what you need to study, I'm only right now talking about the exam preparation. So any online exam today, you will have to ensure that you are working with a clean desk policy. What is a clean desk policy? Wherever you give your exam from, it could be your own room, it could be your office meeting room. The first condition is there should be nobody around you, right? So they will ask you to show the room. They will also ensure that your mobile phones are kept away from you and it should be on the silent mode. Um, you are allowed to keep a bottle of water, and they may also allow you to use, a plain A4 paper along with a pencil. So you want to scribble, you can do that. Another interesting thing is that you're not allowed to whisper. A lot of us have the habit of reading our questions and reading the options. That is not allowed. And if they hear you whispering, they'll immediately warn you to stop doing that. Okay. Why am I telling you of all these things before I tell you how to study and what to study? Is because you should understand that nowadays exams are taken seriously and they are conducted extremely seriously. So you need to ensure that you understand these rules. You read these rules when they come to you in an email. There is a exam guide that you will receive. All instructions are listed down on it. Before the exam, you will have to install a software that will not allow you to browse any other window or go to any other application or use Word or Notepad. Nothing else will work on your system except the exam window. So that is something you have to ensure that you're prepared for mentally and in terms of your system configuration. You definitely need a laptop which has a working camera and you should be audible. So before the exam starts, there is a voice test, there is a face recognition test. You need to have your identity card with you, whichever is your national identity card. For example, in India, we can show a PAN card or a driver's license, any government ID proof that is valid in India. Ensure whichever ID proof you have used for registering on the PeopleCert website is the same that you keep with you when you appear for the exam. They check it online. So these are some of the instructions that will come to you in an email. You have to prepare yourself. You have to ensure that you have read all the instructions. Log in at least 30 minutes before the exam starts, so you have enough time to prepare the room, follow the instructions of the supervisor. They may ask you to show the room. So there is a bit of a logistical journey before you actually give the exam, right? So this is about the exam logistics or facilities preparation for yourself. Now, what does the exam look like? As is um displayed on the screen, you have a 1 hour exam wherein you need to get 26 right out of 40. Now, 40 multiple choice questions are very straightforward questions. You will not get anything that is scenario based or that has a case study or has, long readings of the question, nothing of that sort. Very straightforward questions. All these topics will be covered in your ITIL 4 foundation instructor-led training program, whether classroom or online. In my experience, and the way I'm going to suggest today, if you follow that map and if you follow that journey, you should be able to score anywhere between a 32 to 35 minimum out of 40. I have my students and learners come back to me, and uh, I have a few very recently who have scored 100 out of 100, which is, 100% mark, so 40 out of 40. Uh, ensure that you understand what is a multiple choice question. Multiple choice question is when you have one question and you may have four choices given. You have to select one from it. Another option could be a true or false question, where they give you a statement and they simply ask you if this is right or wrong. That is the second type of question that you can get. The third type of question will be where they have asked you a question. They have given you four options, and out of that, two options are right. So they'll give you a question and say 1 and 2 is correct, 3 and 2 is correct, 1 and 4 is correct, or 4 and 2 is correct. So they'll give you some combination of two correct answers, and you will have to select it accordingly. That's another type of question. Then the next type of question that you can get is a fill in the blank, wherein probably a purpose statement or a definition is given and a part of it is blanked out. The blanked out portion is given in the four options, and you have to select one right answer. So these are the different kinds of questions that you can get. There is no negative marking. You have to answer all the questions. You can't leave anything. You get a chance to review all the questions before you submit your exam, the last and the final time. It is also a closed book exam, which means you cannot have any books, any paper, any material around you. That is why they check your room. And you will definitely not be able to browse anything else on your system because, the software that you install before the exam will lock everything. Shraddha, have you seen any questions so far available to you that I can take at this point?
Not yet, ma'am. We can take it at the end.
Okay, thank you, Shraddha.
Yeah.
So this is the format generally of the question. Any questions that you may have, please post it because Shraddha is going to pick that up, and we'll have some time towards the end of the webinar today where we will discuss these. Now,
You can put up the questions in the Q&A box.
yeah, maybe the chat is disabled, but you have a Q&A option. Please use that. Now, what are some of the recommended resources or sources that you should work with? First and foremost, if you're appearing for a training program through the PeopleCert website, then there is an official ITIL for Foundation guide available to you, and you can go through that. Also, the moment you schedule your exam, the official PeopleCert Learner Guide will become available to you for your study. So that is, of course, the most definitive way to study. Second, any training program that you're attending with, let's say you're attending a training program with Knowlathon, they will give you study material. The study material that Knowlathon will offer to you is reviewed and it is certified by PeopleCert. It is Axelos IP, intellectual property. So there is no gap or there is no, there's nothing given in the training material that is extra or that is less. So it is absolutely appropriate in terms of study. Knowlathon normally also offers, and I speak of Knowlathon because I've been partnering with them for a lot of ITIL programs. Along with that, they also give you a set of questions for practice. So any trainer-led program that you attend, usually you will get a set of practice questions. Now, these practice questions, whether they are 25 or 125, whatever that number is, you must ensure to go through that questions at least 2 times looking at the questions and the answers. And if there is an explanation provided, then go through the explanation as well. If along with the right answer, you don't have the explanation, go back to the training material, look up the topic, and try and understand the explanation of it. Even if you have the right answer, follow this method. Even if you got the wrong answer, follow this method. So this is both the ways. Why should you also do this if you have got the answer right? So that you remember it very well. And at least that part is then clear, and you may, while studying or while doing your revisions, you may not need to revisit it again and again. PeopleCert also offers you 2 mock tests. These are paid mock tests. It comes with a cost. So you will have to enroll for it. You can schedule the mock tests and give it. It's a little bit of an expensive affair because the cost may come to as good as what you're paying to any training institute for your studies. But that is another way of studying. Some of the other recommended sources that I can suggest is probably looking up the Axelos website for resources. So apart from the ITIL 4 Foundation Guide, there are white papers, there are blogs, there are a lot of articles that some of the senior ITIL fraternity members have written. And if you're really keen on understanding the application of ITIL in real world, then that is another area to gain more knowledge. What I will not recommend is please do not visit any AI-enabled application to ask questions. I'll tell you my own experience. If you do that, sometimes if your questions are not clear and you're not sure of what you're asking, let's say a chat GPT, it can throw up questions and answers from the previous versions of ITIL. And if you are new to the ITIL world, and this is the first time you're studying ITIL with no background of any previous versions of ITIL, you will not know the difference. So you may end up studying material probably that's obsolete. You may end up studying material that will confuse you. You will not probably be able to identify that this comes from a previous version. So be very, very, very careful before you explore too much on the internet. Stick to talking to your training administrator or training SPOC with whose help you have attended a training program with any training provider. Because if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, if after attending the training program, they can probably help you with scheduling a 15-20 minute extra additional discussion with the trainer if that is allowed and if that is possible to clear your doubts. So these are some of the definite sources of learning. Now, what happens during a trainer-led program? Usually a trainer-led program, if it is through your office, which means it's a corporate training and multiple people from the same organization are attending a training, it could be on a weekday. But if it is a self-sponsored training, which means you're paying for the training and you're attending it, it is likely that you're attending a training program on a weekend. Either which way, holding attention for the entire duration of the training program is difficult. I have seen everybody getting distracted after the first 2-3 hours. And probably specifically if you're in an online training, a virtual training program, and not attending a face-to-face physical training program with a trainer there, the tendency is to move on to personal work, right? So if you're attending from home, you may end up chit-chatting with family members. You're probably doing other parallel tasks and activities, looking after children or attending personal calls. What then happens is you lose out on information that the trainer is providing, because apart from what's given on the slide, there is enough information that a trainer shares, any trainer, about real world examples about how ITIL gets implemented in workspaces. And every trainer comes with, their own pool of knowledge. And if you're not listening, that is what you lose out on. And then after the training is over, when you actually start studying later, or when you revisit your learner material or start uh, doing your practice questions, you will not know where the links are, how one topic is moving to another. You may not know the examples, or you may have half baked, half cooked information that will confuse you. So please ensure that whichever training program you're attending in ITIL, you must pay 100% attention to what is being taught in class. And this is required to ensure that you can recall this information when you're studying later or when you're doing your revisions. It's the same method we followed in school and college. Why is it so difficult now? Because as adults, we have forgotten how to study. We have forgotten how to sit in one place. We have very short attention spans nowadays. Thank you to the reels and thank you to social media and all of that. Plus, when you're watching a web series, you can pause it, do what you want, and come back to it. Here, you cannot pause a trainer, correct? The maximum you can do is ask for a break, and you will still have to listen to what the person is saying. But extremely critical that you pay attention to whatever is being taught. In principle, the training material will help you to get clarity if you have paid attention through the class. You will also be able to share your own questions, examples, what happens in your office. It's a cohesive learning where multiple participants can learn from each other as well, right? So I have noticed that people who are extremely interactive in class and paying attention are not scared of the exam later. And I've also seen them giving the exams earlier than the others, which means in 2 to 3 weeks, they have the confidence of appearing for the paper. Okay. Now, how do we study? Um, if you have, let's say, completed your training program on 1st of August, then by 3rd week of August or maximum within that month, you should give your exam. So you should ideally break down the study into 2 to 4 weeks and not beyond that. Take time out on a daily basis and spend 30 to 60 minutes revising the concepts. And just if I just talk of ITIL 4 Foundation, there is enough material that will keep you busy for those 2 to 4 weeks. Decide one focus area for 2 days or 3 days and just study that. For example, if your focus is on guiding principles, then take 2 days. There are 7 guiding principles. Break it down into 3 principles per day. And basis that, think of examples, think of scenarios. There are no scenario based questions. Why am I saying scenario? Because understanding it from an application basis or perspective makes it easier. Pick up smaller topics, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 30-minute sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening is good enough. Study the entire ITIL training material provided to you by your training organization, training provider, at least twice, end to end. Maybe just go topic wise. So there are 7 modules or 6 modules in ITIL 4 Foundation. Pick up one module one day, second module, second day, and ensure that you finish it end to end after you have done your breakdown study. Post all the breakdown is completed before you give your exam, end to end study at least twice. If practice questions have been provided to you, aim at achieving 90% or above every time you solve the paper or solve those questions. Any question which you continuously are getting wrong, park it for a separate day. Go and study that topic on that day just for that question or those 3 questions or 5 questions, and practice the questions again. Um, there is a little bit of a rote learning, or as we call it, at least here in India, by hearting of information, because some of it is definition based, at least at the foundation level. So you will find enough of definitions or purpose statements coming up. So you will have to some extent, understand the definition and how the keywords are mapping with each other. Every definition has keywords, and I'll give you some examples very soon. This is just a sample plan where I have, given a practice breakup in terms of modules. So day 1 to day 14, what are the different things you can study in terms of topics. But 2 weeks of studies ideally is a fantastic focus plan. And in the third week, you should give your exam. If you delay it beyond that, you will forget what you learned in your training program. You lose motivation. There's a 21-day habit forming cycle. Once you finish those 2 to 3 weeks, you will in fact give the exam in a better state of mind, and you will also feel extremely motivated to learn some other topics in ITIL and move forward on that roadmap as well. So this is just a sample prepared for how you can look at breaking up the study material into 14 days. You can take this as a example and prepare your own. Some of them work differently. So, for example, personally, I like to tackle all my difficult topics first. So, out of all the modules of ITIL that I learn in foundation, let's say if I find the practices module to be a little difficult, or some portions of the service value chain a little difficult, then I would pick that first, finish that first, and then go to the easier parts. Right? So you can decide whichever works best for you. Now, how does ITIL look in real life and how you can put it in practice? We've picked up just 2-3 examples from a multiple day training program. Now, when I talk of guiding principles, one of the guiding principles in ITIL is progressing iteratively with feedback. Now, this comes from the agile way of working. It comes from DevOps way of working, usually from the software development lifecycle space. But this you can use in your service desk operations, implementation of tools. Our daily stand-up calls are an example of this. If you want to understand how this is actually done, then you must attend the ITIL4 Foundation course to figure this out better. Change enablement or change management, as it is normally called, most of you all could be aware of it because it's already implemented in your organization. Any change management process practice cannot work without collaboration, right? So collaborate and promote visibility is another guideline or recommendation from ITIL, which allows people to come together and work with each other. How does it happen in change management? There are a set of approvers, there are a set of assessors, there is a team that will actually implement the change, and then there is a governance team, which is the change management team. These are all different people from different spaces within IT. They could be from database teams, product teams, application teams, cloud teams, but everybody comes together to do one common thing, which is ensuring that the change is successful. Right? So that is how ITIL will train you or will help you with many such real life situations where ITIL will improve the overall IT stability, will ensure it is getting governed, which will make you understand how uh, everybody can get involved, how data can become more meaningful information, so on and so forth. Service level management, we all understand SLAs and the SLM practice. If I have to take an example of a bank, right? A bank gives priority to its end user or its customer, the account holders. people who have a bank account, right? A guiding principle within ITIL called as focus on value. How is it going to help a bank? For them, the user experience, customer experience is primary. Net banking cannot be not available at any given point in time. ATMs have to work 24 by 7. You work with any application on your mobile, a banking app. It should work correctly, smoothly, available, should be available all the time, should be secure, right? And it should help you to meet your objective as per the timelines promised. So for a bank, service level management is not just a number. It's not just meeting of a KPI or a metric. But how this service level is applied on ground is by keeping a clear focus and concentrating all efforts on enabling value for users and customers. These are some of the clear ways ITIL will help you to bring uh, sharper focus, better understanding of your own IT environment, and you'll be able to adapt and adopt to many of these guidelines, principles, practices in your own organization. That's how ITIL will enable you. And this is how you have to also learn or study for your exams by applying all of these with real life scenarios. These are some of the key definitions that we have from ITIL. If I have to give you just one example from this, let's take the simplest one, which is the second one, that is value. What is the meaning of value? Value is subjective. It's unique to an individual. If somebody gave me a dinner set as a gift on my birthday, uh, there are two clear reactions, responses expected. One, I could be very happy, and second, I may not really like it. There are multiple reasons. I may have enough number of dinner sets. I was expecting something else. I needed a different color in the dinner set. Maybe I don't like the brand. Uh, let's say if I receive it very well and I'm really happy with it, that's because I'm fond of dinner sets. Maybe I needed one. Maybe it's the brand or the color or the ornamentation of the dinner set that is beautiful. So every person brings their own understanding of value to how we look at things, right? I've given you a very layman example. What you see on screen is the IT way of working. So a dashboard or a report has different meaning for different people in the organization. A CIO or a CTO is looking at the executive summary. Somebody who is in operations wants to look at numbers, wants to understand data more, right? Somebody who is in the board of directors is looking at compliance, is looking at cost, looking at risks. So for them, value from a dashboard will be different, right? So let's say these are some of the key definitions that appear in ITIL in various spaces. Now, what kind of questions can you expect from these? These are some of the sample questions. Let's look at the first one. It says, what best describes the purpose of a service in ITIL for? The four options that are given with it, one of them is correct, and it is the correct definition or the purpose statement of the term service. Okay. Any guesses for question one? What is the right answer? If you wish to share your responses, you can use the Q&A option. Question one, what according to you could be the right answer? Anyone? A, B, C, D. Which one do you think is the right answer for question one? Let me show you the definition once. These are the key definitions. For the first definition of service, there is question one. Which one is the right option? Any responses, Shraddha?
Not yet. You can enter your responses in the Q&A box, everyone. Let's
What
keep the
best
session interactive. So give the answers in the Q&A box. We'll be waiting.
What best describes the purpose of a service in ITIL for? There are 4 options given. This is a sample question. One of them is the correct response. I'll show you the previous screen. Look at the definition from here. Just for service, the term service maps with the first question. Look at the definition, select the right answer.
Just write the answer as option and we'll
Which
see if you get it
one?
right or not.
Yeah, question 1, A, B, C, D. Which one is the right answer? Any response, Shraddha?
Not yet, ma'am.
Post dinner. That's the post dinner impact. Okay, let me try and help everybody out. So let's say service, the definition is value co-creation without the customer managing specific costs and risks. So any additional cost, any additional risk while providing a service, the customer will not bear that. Example, you order something from Amazon, the product is defective. There is some problem with it. You have to return that product to Amazon. You will not pay any additional money to send that product back. You will get your refund or replacement, and the entire risk of shipping the product to our place. There could be a loss, there could be, damage to the product. Somebody can steal it along the way. Something can, go wrong in the delivery timelines. Anything that goes wrong is between the service provider and the appliance manufacturer. Me as a customer, I'm not worried about any additional payments or managing this risk. That is the meaning of that definition. And if you look at how the question is, this is the right answer. B, enabling outcomes without the customer managing specific risk or cost. It's a very direct question. If you know the definition of service in the training program, any trainer will give you at least 3-4 examples of what this means, breaking this down for you. If you're paying attention in class and if you read the definition twice, selecting the right answer is magic. It will happen very easily. Okay. Second one, which term refers to the perceived benefits and usefulness of something provided? The right answer is value. If you look at the definition of value, perceived benefits, usefulness, and importance of something. Very straight question. They have given the definition in the question and they're asking you to select the right term. All these 4 are valid ITIL 4 foundation terms. You will study each one of them if you have taken up ITIL 4 foundation. Warranty, outcome, value, output. Valid terms. So you'll have to select the correct one. So these are the type of questions that will come up. Very straightforward, based on definitions, purposes, meanings of those, sometimes also true or false. Now, what kind of value ITIL brings to your workspace or to your professional life? It is useful when you want to show your domain expertise, when you want to show your knowledge, when you want to bring or make a difference to how IT functions in your organization. So, of course, professional credibility, you get certifications, you can get a badge from ITIL and people cert that you can display in your signature or you can put it on LinkedIn. So that is professional credibility. It opens up pathways to leadership roles. If you are today an incident manager and if you want to grow to an ITSM lead position or process architect or IT project manager, process owner or service level manager, client partner, delivery head, all these roles will require some amount of advanced ITIL understanding. Foundation is where you start, but it will allow you to pick up the next levels of ITIL modules so that you can grow in your organization and in your career path accordingly. Career mobility, it is industry agnostic. So if you have implemented ITIL in one of the industries, like let's say transportation, you can easily also deploy it in a retail space. You can also deploy it in a telecom space. there is about 20 to 30% customization which will happen, and it'll bring those customizations will happen in processes, in tools, in KPIs, in SLAs, etc., but the concepts remain the same. So it's a very industry agnostic framework, can be used in any space, in any IT organization, on the provider side as well as on the customer side. Like I was explaining earlier, it also aligns, or it uses some of the common concepts from other known uh, current frameworks: DevOps, DevSecOps, Lean Sigma, project management, Agile. So while studying ITIL, more so with advanced modules, you will be able to map these very easily with what the concepts are telling you. Uh, Certifications like managing professionals is good for people who are in IT operations, but on the decision making side, on the operations side, but people who can fund, people who can strategize, people who are IT managers, IT heads, so on and so forth. The strategic leader will allow you to take up more leadership roles where you're doing governance, where you are deciding 1 year, 2 year plans. So, for those kind of roles, it also prepares you to align with other frameworks. So, if your organization is preparing for an ISO 20000 audit, if your organization is preparing for an ISO 27001 audit, then at least ITIL Foundation and one of the other ITIL advanced modules will be needed by people in service management or even in technical teams to be able to clear those audits, right? So it feeds into other frameworks for alignment and for audit enablement. Some of the other sample questions uh, are given here, which I've already explained. These are all sample questions, all of them direct, all of them straightforward. Any questions that anybody has for exams or otherwise, you can put it in the Q&A section and Shraddha will pick it up for me to respond.
Yes, everyone, you can put your questions in the Q&A box. We'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes and you'll get your questions. So ask your doubts, get clear answers from the expert.
And not just the ITIL 4 foundation exam, any ITIL module, if you have any questions, or any ITIL module, any exam preparation question for even any other ITIL module, feel free to ask. I'll be able to help. The methodology
Yes.
almost remains the same.
This is your chance to get actionable and clear answers. So drop the questions in the Q&A box.
If you've had exam experience on ITIL 4 foundation, and if there is any learning that you have experienced and you want to share, please feel free to do that as well.
Yeah. We will wait for 2 more minutes to get
Yeah.
to the questions.
Yeah.
Then we will answer them. So put your questions in the Q&A box. I think they got the clear idea, ma'am, from the session.
I hope that we've been able to provide that information very clearly.
Yes.
Okay. Shraddha, do we want to wait for 1 or 2 more minutes?
Yes, ma'am. We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we can move ahead.
Yeah. Any questions from anybody?
Not yet. Okay, ma'am. We can move ahead. There are no questions yet. If you have any more questions, we have till 7 more minutes before the session ends. So you can drop them in the Q&A box. We will answer them. After the session, if you want to answer, then you can reach out to us. You can ask your queries and we will reach out with the answers.
You can see the number to call,
Yes,
on Shraddha's screen. So please make use of that number, and you can anytime give them a call, and either Shraddha or one of her colleagues from Knowlathon will be able to help to answer all your queries.
yes, ma'am. So, all right. Firstly, I want to thank you, ma'am, for such
Thank
insightful
you.
and helpful session. It was really great that if I have to take an ITL exam in next 15 20 days, I surely know what to do next.
Fantastic.
Now, yes, ma'am. All right, before we wrap up the session, remember I have said that we have got something for you if you're thinking about the next steps. So if so, what here it is. If you're looking to get certified and if you are looking to get certified or trained in ITL4, we have got ITL4 foundation training starting at just 1999. Yes, there is no typo or anything. We are running an offer to give you the trainings, which are quality trainings, as ma'am already earlier mentioned that expert-led trainings are the beneficial for the clearing the exam. So you will get that in 1999. So it's live, it's structured, and it's built to help you clear the exam, understand how to use ITL on the job. So I have dropped the link in the Q&A box. Go through it or save it with you. Afterwards, you can check it out or you can check it out on our website also. Before you go, if you want updates for future webinars, resources, or just want a clear, solid career advice, follow Knowlathon on social media platforms or contact us on our website, email, or call us directly. We will reach out to you. We will help you get ahead. If you have any career doubts, you can reach out to us. So I'm sharing all the social media links as well as our contact details in the chat box. I'll wait for two more minutes to grab this and maybe save it in your computer or save it in your phone so you can check it out afterwards. We are sharing a lot of stuffs on our YouTube channels also. So do check it out. I'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we will wrap the session. If you have any doubts regarding that ITL4 foundation training also, you can reach out to us directly. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you again for joining us. and go apply what you have learned today and maybe clear the exam. And we will see you soon again.
Thank you,
That's it for
everyone. Thank
today.
you so much,
Yeah,
Shraddha.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.